And here we go on our Wednesday edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. And we are talking about what Dee and Jimmy Haslam had to say today when they met with reporters via Zoom. It's been a little while since we talked to Dee and Jimmy, I think. So, Mary Kay, let's just start here. This is always the topic when we talk to somebody like Andrew Berry, when we talk to the owners. Baker Mayfield. What did you pick up on today regarding Baker Mayfield and maybe where Dee and Jimmy stand on an extension?
Well, I think the organization, I think they're all very optimistic about where this is going, where this is headed. I think they really do believe that he is their quarterback of the future, not just, for the next 1 or 2 years. I think they see him being here for a good long time. And I think they echoed that sentiment today. It's the same thing we've been hearing from Kevin Stefanski. It's the same thing that we've been hearing from Andrew Berry. And I think that even though Andrew Berry hasn't been giving any clues about when he wants to do the extension, I think he's been trying to steer everyone towards the notion that at some point they want to get Baker wrapped up long term. And I think that basically what Jimmy said today reflected that. It seemed like it was a matter of when will we get the extension done, not if.
Yeah, I thought that the way they kind of addressed Baker, it showed that they're kind of aligned in a way with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. They were in favor of the fifth-year option, and now we're moved forward. And maybe in years past there would have been more emphatic, declarations about Baker's role on the team and all that moving forward. But it felt like they kind of said what they had to say, and I think they've learned maybe not to get too excited about things before they happen, because everybody's been burned before with that. So I think they said all the right things, and they seemed happy that they're where they are with Baker, and definitely seem happy with the fact that they're talking about things like this and not what quarterback are you going to draft.
The really big thing was talking about Kevin Stefanski and talking about Andrew Berry. And again, no surprise here, but to hear them talk about it, it really did feel, Jimmy joked that he sleeps better at night now because of those two guys. And it really felt like that, watching those two sit in that room and answer questions. I mentioned the tone. It was so different. It just seems like they feel really good kind of staying off to the side and letting Paul DePodesta and Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski steer this thing.
Well, finally, right? They finally
Right.
did that after all these years. Ever since they took over, they tried to put together the right front office and the right coaching staff, and they could never get it right. They hired Paul DePodesta to be their chief strategy officer, and they still didn't really let him be that. They didn't let him do that job. Finally, it seems they were willing to let him run the show and create that alignment. Every time they tried to put people together, I kept saying, this isn't going to work. No, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. You really can't even put Paul DePodesta and John Dorsey in the same front office, because John's going to bring his team, and then you've got Paul's team, and they're not going to work together. And they didn't. And, that's all changed now. Everyone from top to bottom is speaking the same language, singing out of the same hymnal. We're not going to have, general managers texting suggestions to coaches on the sideline, all the crazy things that have happened over the years. It's just those days are over. And when you talk to people throughout the league, they say the same thing. When you talk to agents, when you talk to players, everyone can kind of see that it's really normal here and working very well.
The moment that really stuck with me from the press conference was when they were asked, or when it was pointed out to them, we haven't talked to you since Kevin Stefanski was named Coach of the Year. And I'm just thinking the fact that question was asked of Jimmy and Dee Haslam shows how far this franchise has come. It's been a long, hard road to get here. The fact that they're addressing their head coach and how he won Coach of the Year. And, they do seem really thrilled that so many of the things that they've had to repeatedly talk about are kind of in place now. And, whether it's quarterback or coach, and now you add in Andrew Berry, and, they just multiple times, they just mentioned how smart and organized and just, aligned, to throw that word back in there, that they are. And it was really a different it's a different era of Browns football that we're kind of in the early stages of here, and they're clearly enjoying it.